Hello, my dear ones. Always, 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 always a good pleasure to come and speak to you, and hope that you're all doing fine and well and healing up others. It's just so exciting, the energy that's out there and what you guys are doing and helping others. It's cool stuff. This level is needed, don't you think, at this time on this planet? Got to get out of this treatment-based thinking concepts and start taking, the reins of your own actions. It's hard to realize that everything in your world, take a look around you, everything, your wife, your husband, your daughters, your family, your mom and dad, all your cars and houses and whatever you have or don't have, all of that world is yours. You created it totally. When you look around it, it's hard to understand that because sometimes we feel victims. But when you get back and realize that you're a very conscious being on a long journey, and these journeys are very unconscious journeys until you wake up from them, because they use the mind as the creative force. So when you're always using your mind to create your journeys, you lose who you are, the person enjoying and experiencing the journey itself. And we've talked about this many times, how you have to pull back to the self again. You have to stop thinking. That's simple. It's that simple. The mind isn't going anywhere if you stop thinking. Your mind isn't going anywhere. It's not going to go hide anywhere. It's a body you have to have, just like the one you're in right now, physical body. But this one is the creative force of creation. The mind creates creation in forms of duality. This is why in chemistry and physics and everything else, you're taught there's two forces that create magnetism and all that's involved. From that issue of duality and magnetism flows everything. Chemistry, the duality of chemistry, the electron, protons scenarios, all those things of ionization, all these processes deal with magnetism, osmosis, all these laws like this. But they wrap themselves around two forces, where the one force becomes the two. When the two forces now become the one again, you're getting home again. And you can still experience creation in its duality from the one consciousness. But you must see in the one consciousness. And it's just learning how to quiet the mind and controlling the mind, being awake of the mind. Consciousness is not involved in thought. Consciousness is pure awareness of itself. It is the totality of all things. So when you're in the now, you're in that mix. And as you surrender more and more to that now, the answers of the universe just keep flooding in because you're becoming more of what everything is a part of. And you're very much a part of it too. We're all part of it. That's why when people fight and you have wars in all these countries and stuff, and we've had them here and everywhere else, it's just the play, the dharma, the drama of it all, if you want. But there's a time as the experiencer, or the one making the journey, that you get tired of playing in one field or in one room of toys. It's time to go on. You get tired of your toys after a while. You want new toys. When you're tired of the toys completely, now you're on your waking up, and now it's time for you to change your whole way of doing things, because you're no longer trapped in this concept of duality and creation, because everything's a dime a dozen. You can have anything. You can think anything. You can do anything. Experiences are everywhere. But waking it up to the reality of consciousness of who you are, who the experiencer of all that's around you really is, that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate. Because in that awakening is joy, ecstasy, bliss, happiness. Those are just a fraction of happiness. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you expand so much more than the little self here playing with these little bodies and things like this. But we want to get our bodies healthy, and I want to read a couple of these things to you. This was an email. I don't know if I read it to you, but this poor lady woke up, Corpus Christi, Texas. Marie, hi, sweetheart. I probably have read this, but this lady woke up in the morgue. She had died, and they tagged her and put her in the morgue. She woke up in the morgue. That is an amazing story. One friggin' amazing story. I'll tell you what, Murray. I tell you, cool stuff though. I mean, it just shows you out of body and all the things that you can experience out of body. And, you know, there's all levels. There's all kinds of levels to having fun with. We just have to pull back from the intensity of this level. And don't take things so seriously here. And at the same time, we all have to learn how to work with each other and become a one world, not in banking as much as in our spirituality. You know, this idea that your God's better or you're infidels or whatever, and I don't remember in the Spanish Inquisitions what they call this, but you know, all kinds of things through this history on this dramatic area here. Interesting stuff. When we're all come from the same source, you guys got to drop all that kind of stuff. We all got to be together on this planet. It's your governments that's the problems. You know, everybody gets mad at the kids and the women and everything else. Those are the victims. Got to quit warring on this planet. This planet is always in war, if you notice that. And it can lift itself up a little bit. There's other planets that can become new warrior planets and make this one a little higher. But I thought that was interesting. Woke up in the morning. Wow. Amazing. Definitely get a sense that your journey isn't done here, don't you? Definitely got some things to do, huh? Yeah, you know, because what you get done here, you can go on and just have all kinds of fun. Remember I told you Dr. Jensen had a lot of out-of-body experiences, and his spiritual guides were taking him to, there's a lot of crystalline-like cities. There's all kinds of, I don't even know how you can describe the beauty of some of these areas within these worlds. If you look at this world, there is a lot of beauty on Earth, but it ain't nothing, honey. It ain't nothing compared to what's out there. Ain't nothing. But anyway, get this. Major cancer breakthrough. Doctors solve long-standing mystery of how to stop cancer from growing. Now keep in mind this article, and this is from Cancer is a terrifying disease that researchers around the globe are obviously working to cure. Now scientists from the USA have made a breakthrough discovery related to how cells replicate in cancer patients. Everybody knows how cells replicate. How to put a stop to the process and even how to reverse a tumor. So what it is, it's something about microRNA, doing injections of microRNAs that would reinforce the existing supply in cancer cells, blah, 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 blah. We now done this in very aggressive, these cells are already missing the PLEKHA7, restoring either da-da-da-da-da. You know, and when you go down through here, when you break this ridiculous concept of diseases, you freed yourself from a heavy, heavy negative thinking process that has no reality to it. Yes, there's body symptoms, but they're not diseases. They're chemistry symptoms, physics symptoms. These are symptoms of your lifestyle, 100%, and the genes you were given. That's it. You were given a body with cells that are genetically imprinted. In other words, they have memories of the past experiences of your focus, of your journey, and those involved in similar journeys. So that sets the stage in your body for different chemical actions not to take place or to take place more aggressively, like in hyper cases or whatever. This sets up whether you're born with kidney weakness, adrenal weakness, or whatever weaknesses in the cells you were given. You also start out with your fluids being somewhat toxic, and you start because of mother. Moms just out there are not told what to eat when they bear children, and even outside of that to make their own cells healthy. So these poor ladies are eating typical diets, high acidic foods and everything, and then having children. And as we weaken the cell, we weaken the genetics. That's what genetics is the consciousness of cells. And they can be turned around as you can at any given moment turn yourself around. You're never sentenced forever to anything. At any given moment, you can open your eyes and see. At any given moment. Or at any given moment, you can close them and choose not to see. However that is. But this world treats these things as diseases, and we're going to conquer them. We're going to, through chemistry, reduce tumors. How stupid. How stupid. You have to fix why you have tumors. Cancer is a fluid problem. Matter of fact, all diseases starts out as a fluid problem. They're not diseases. They start out by the bad chemistry you're consuming on top of your genetic weaknesses. Change your chemistry you're consuming. You learn the botanical world and what it's really there for, and you'll turn your whole beingness around. You'll turn your physical body around, your emotional body around, you'll quiet the mind, and you begin to be awake. It's just a natural process, and it's time, because things are going to be moving a little quicker as things go on here. And some of it isn't going to be real pretty. But the beauty of watching it all is the fact that this world is moving into another level. And that's why we're all here, is to help this go through this end cycle and lift up to another level, not repeat the cycles. Lift up to another higher cycle. And that's just, what we're infusing everything for. And again, for those of you who are ready to leave this level, you get your affairs in order, close the door, and learn how to play until it's your time to actually leave it. But chasing rainbows here is ridiculous. We're going to infuse RNA or DNA, and we're going to change the chromosomes, and we're going to back up these tumors, and we're going to go. The cause of these things is so simple to understand, and to put things like this, it keeps the public controlled and contrived that these things are totally out of their control. The man has no chance. We're the saviors with the swords. We're going to come. Insanity. Insanity. For those of you that have cancer, you've got to understand what it is. You have to understand that you've damaging cells in your body. You can call it cancer. You can call it atrophy. You can call it decay. I don't care what you call it. You are damaging cells in your body. How are you doing that? Look at what you're eating. You must understand that two sides of chemistry is very, very real. Acids are very, very real. Bases are very, very real. Everything is chemistry. It can chew you up or it can rebuild you. That's simple. Learning the simple things about chemistry. All this is so simple. It's amazing that we can't keep simplicity simple. Because of what? What aspect of yourself has a hard time keeping simplicity in order? Your mind. Because your mind lives by comparisons, rationales, creating duality. And so simplicity isn't in the mix. That's consciousness. So this is why it's hard to keep that and keep that contained to understand. And the herbs are created for man's diseases. Right. That's all insanity. It's all insanity. We are a simple reflection of chemistry and physics and the interaction thereof. You don't like the chemical interactions you're witnessing in your body, you don't like the acid pain, then you have to change what you're doing. As we said the other day, you can't change your diet and enjoy the suffering you're going to have, because it's just what you're going to have. You're paying the price that you put up for. Everything you experience is in your world. Everything I experience is in my world. We're all bumping uglies and whirls and whirls and whirls. My world bumps with a lot of worlds around here, a lot of your worlds. Absolutely. We're the one. Oh, right here, let's see. Txplowgirl. What's that? Farmers.com. Txplowgirl. All right. Love you, Doc. Love you, girl. I think a higher spirit led me to you. Why, you asked? Because I found you a few months ago accidentally trying to find a way to help me with my autoimmune illnesses. And also, these past few months, I also have been receiving cancer health info brochures. 2 weeks ago, I was having stomach problems and finally went to see my local doc to see if it was my gallbladder or something. Turns out I had an 11-pound, it's a big boy, tumor of my right ovary. So you had a 11-pound ovarian cyst. Remember I told you about the 303 pound, this is on Discovery Channel a few years back, a 303-pound ovarian cyst. I have no idea how a cyst can get that big. At that size, I'd have to say it's a tumor, you know. But it was amazing how they laid this lady on her side in the OR, and they brought this, for lack of a better word, you know, these moving skids, these little things with wheels on them, and they set the tumor right on it, and they cut that tumor right off of her. That was amazing. 303-pound tumor. That's what medicine is about. That's what allopathy is about. Not health program. That's our job. That's our field. The medical field is cutting off 303-pound ovarian cysts, putting on new faces, doing all that sort of stuff. That's cool stuff. That is cool stuff. That's cool stuff. Anybody goes under surgery, you're always praying you have a great surgeon. Turns out I had an 11-pound tumor, had to have emergency surgery, I bet. I had something the allopathic docs state as Mucinous Carcinoma of the ovary. Well, that's interesting. But you know what that is, of course. That's your lymph system. And just look at that. You think your lymph system isn't something far out? Look at Elephant Man and look at all these people with the lymphodemas and how big a person's legs can get from lymphedema. I mean, and when you see a 303-pound tumor, there was that guy the other day on one of the Discovery shows that had the face was just massive tumors all over it. And that one guy, that one surgeon, I don't know what got his name. I tried to keep remembering it, but he's amazing. And he cut that tumor off of that guy's face. I mean, multiple little amazing stuff. But that shows you how radical that your lymph system can get, how radical acids and lymph fluids that are not being filtered can get. And when you understand that your diet's feeding that, then you have to change it. And man's diet, as much as people love the types of foods that they're eating, is the problem. We're not designed to cook and destroy our food before. We haven't learned that. Over all the other animals that don't do that, we have to cook and destroy our food. And somehow we have some ridiculous idea that cooking food makes it better for us. I can't imagine anybody with that level of thinking, but they're out there. Macrobiotics, same way. They believe because they believe in vegetable matter. And vegetable matter is very difficult for the Homo sapien. They're a herbivore food. So yeah, steaming and breaking down the cellulose, but by doing that, you compromise any water solubles, and that's the thin line is water solubles and coagulating lipids and proteins, which is just what happens. So no animal does that. Even the lions kill raw meat. So I've always said, if you guys out there, the paleo people, you want your meat that bad, well, eat it raw. Now we're still unbalanced chemistry, big time. But at least you'll get the magnetic kick out of it. Of the ovary stage 1C, I had a full hysterectomy plus removal of the tumor, and they also removed my appendix. We're in there. Might as well take that little puppy, right? Another what? Lymphatic organ, if you want to call it an organ. I call it's a lymph node, as far as I'm concerned, because it was also inflamed. Are we kidding? When you look at the appendix is inflamed too. Why wouldn't it be? It's the lymph system that the tumor is, and so is the appendix is part of the lymph system. Yeah, but you didn't need to remove it. I mean, this is the sort of idiocy that's out there, because now you're going to have some lymphatic problems in the colons, or could, but I think you're going to fix all this and, you know, get pretty free of that. I am now cancer-free, they say. All right? Now, have you fixed this system that created this problem? No, you just cut everything out. So what you did was you addressed the effect of the problem. Now my advice would to be totally go in and fix the cause of the problem, or you're going to get another tumor. You're not going to stop growing because you haven't fixed the system that's down. And that's the lymphatic system. And where's your problem? Real close to the ovaries. The kidneys. You got to fix your kidneys. Remember that? Kidney filtration and the adrenal glands on top. You know, if I say kidneys, I'm really meaning kidney and adrenals. Those two are twins. You're not going to fix one without the other, and you need to fix them both. It's hard to make an herbal formula that is powerful enough to hit both of them in the same formula. So I have a formula for each one of them, unfortunately. I tried to put some adrenal kick in each kidney formula, though, just as someone buys it off a shelf in some place, that I have something for the adrenals in each of those formulas. You know, you're always trying to think about that in a formula. If someone buys them where they don't understand the way to use them properly, excuse me, that you have a little kick in there for the related tissue that helps, you know, because kidneys and adrenals, they're right there. Man, wife, brother, sister, however you wish to call them. Let me see here. This woke me up to finally getting off the wagon and follow your teachings. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to fix this, sweetheart, and then you're done. You get this fixed, you're all done. Okay, you had the appendix removed. Okay, you just get that bowel wall cleaned up. Well, the bowel wall, that's fed by what? Blood and lymph, right? So, again, remember, your fluids create cell problems. Your fluids control the health and wellness of a cell through eating and cleaning. Kitchen, bathroom. That's simple. The human body is simply an eating machine, just like anything else. A machine that consumes energy and eliminates waste. And you have to address it in that way. And when you do, you're successful. Some people work a little harder, no question. I mean, look at some of the eyes here. Some of the eyes are extreme in the lymph toxicity, because you're talking about generations and generations and generations of this building up. Way back, shamans and all this, you can treat acute, subacute conditions just like medical doctors with pharmaceuticals. What was the first medical text written? 1522 or something like that. So how many years have medicals been treating symptoms and building the concept of diseases? So this concept is within the consciousness of this level, and it has to be weeded out for a higher level of understanding. See, this is the lower levels of understanding that are dealing in half-truths. You guys, we need to pull this level up into more of the truth, more of the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth. I do not need chemo, and was planning on telling the docs no, that I wasn't going to do the chemo. This woke me up finally to getting off like you say, my mind especially was getting in the way of keeping me going totally raw fruits, berries, and melons. It always is the mind, because they all taste good. I mean, if they're raised properly and picked ripe. I mean, who don't like fruits and berries? I mean, there are some real strong meat and potato people that don't like fruits and salads and things like that. I thought I was one of those. When I was introduced to raw foods, I read, you know, a carpenter I had hired threw me a book, I think it was a natural hygienic book of one of Shelton's book or something. I can't remember. It could have been Arnold Ehret's book, who knows, a lot of years ago. And that was it. It's like when you understand a few things, like living is the way life is, that when you cook, you destroy, you alter chemistry, you destroy the electromagnetic energy of a food. When you start looking at all this and you realize, well, yeah, that makes sense. I don't see any other animal cooking their foods. Why are we doing that? It just all starts to make sense. And then when you wear the robe, strap yourself onto the bull, and you start going raw, and you start going fasting, and you start hitting it and cleaning yourself out, now you're really getting a sense of what reality really is. Jesus did it back in his time, guys. Go back and read the Essene Gospel of Peace. Go back and read the Dead Sea Scrolls, all the 23 other Gospels. You start getting a sense that something's repeating itself here. Like you say, the mind. I started the day after I was released from the hospital. Boy, I would. I am now 7 days on raw fruits, berries, and melons. Thank you, Doc. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what, honey? Take this. Get your body cleaned out. Get those kidneys filtered. Remember, filtration of the kidneys. You want to see the goop out in the urine. You want to see the sediment. Get your kidneys filtering. Fix why you're having these problems, and you'll be done. You fixed a big deal. And this is particularly obviously true with you parents and the babies. It's apparent here every day. Oh, Kenzie Stevens. Oh, hi, Kenzie. Pretty woman. Thank you for addressing the sulfur. Ah, you're welcome, sweetheart. There's so much contradictory information out there. Boy, there is. I know there is. And all I can say is keep it simple. Things don't have to be complicated. Health is so simple. Life on this planet is divided up in different species. We are one of the basic 4 vertebrates that they divided off into 4. So you have the herbivore vertebrates, you have the frugivore vertebrates. Which might they be? You have the omnivore vertebrates, and then you have the carnivore vertebrates as basic vertebrates. So just from a very simple, childlike look, which one of these vertebrates do we look like? That's the most simplest way that you could look at something. Oh, Mommy, we look like the monkeys. Yes, we do look like the monkeys. Didn't say we were a monkey. I said we look like them. We have similar features. We're starting to evolve. And of course, it was obvious that when they found this female, bipedal female in Ethiopia, dated 44 million years ago, that, there was a different species besides primates. There was a Homo sapien-like species coming along with them, a higher evolved. And if you watch man, you look back at old pictures, God is evolving itself even more, refining the beauty of itself, and just everything, refining itself. But wouldn't it? So that's just life. You want to do better. You want to leave the world better than when you got here. When I build something, I want to say, there, God, I built that for you. The Malarapa story. That's what taught me. I'm going to leave it better than how I got it. I'm not going to leave it worse. Someone leave trash on the floor, I'll pick it up and throw it in the container. I don't care. I'm going to always leave things better than the way I find them. I know this. Every time I try and research ways to pull sulfur out of the body, there's hundreds, I know it, blogs, publications, etc., about how I should not detox the sulfur. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. I don't even know where that comes from. Matter of fact, I don't think a lot of people understand sulfur. I mean, I tripped on it doing the iris analysis, and I kept wondering what all this orange is, all this orange in eyes. I'm going, what the hell is all this stuff? That was a lot of years ago, and then through the years, you just put it all together. You see it, you smell it, you also see the side effects of it, and you start to correlate that with the use of that in terms of penicillin or other sulfa drugs, and there it is. And so you start to correlate, it all comes up to what it is. And what's the big deal of why people have so much disagreements about things anyway? It's definitely a chemical that has to come out, but it definitely is sulfur. And medical doctors have loved sulfur, I suppose. But if you smell sulfur, how many people are pulled to sulfur smells and go, oh, I love that rotten egg smell? Boy, not too many. It's repulsive. So when you see something that's repulsive, pretty much nature is saying, stand back. stand back. And yet, in some of these countries, there's sulfur springs. There's that one, those monkeys, of course, they're in the dead of winter, but they're playing in these sulfur springs. But the stench is almost unacceptable. So it keeps us away from those. It's like cabbage, fermenting cabbage and stuff like that. It's not a smell that it's sweet and pulling you into it. It's a repulsive smell. So, you know, I just think that we have to learn to be more natural in our sensories, in our senses. And that we're, you know, we go where we feel pulled and we reject where we're not. We listen more to intuitiveness. The mind has been replaced for awareness, intuitiveness. So if it doesn't rationale or it doesn't fit in the way you're taught, it's obviously a negative. A lot of you suffered so long that, and a lot of you are very spiritual. And those people don't need the mind to dictate to them. They're already awake to a certain degree beyond the mind. So like you are awake beyond the mind, so you're pulled to that, the truth of that. Others are just trapped in the automaticness of the mind. So if it's not in a book, if someone didn't say it somewhere, then it must not exist. That's what makes you guys pace setters, trend setters. You're awake. You create things that others are lost in thought, and you see and go beyond that. That's what's needed at this time. This has been a very lost world. So I don't know, you know, I have some medical friends, as much as I, you know, come down on them sometimes, but there are some that deserve it. Quite well deserve it. They deserve a little spanking for what they've been doing to people. Pretty bad out there in some cases. Other medical doctors, very nice, loving people in places. Same with naturopaths. Matter of fact, I've got an appointment Wednesday with a naturopath. He's in trouble, or she. Can't remember which one. And they put themselves on a regimen they sent me and wanted me to look at it. It's that thick. That thick. And when I looked at it, I didn't see one thing that person was doing for their wellness, for the reason they have this issue. And that's part of this whole intellectual jargon crap, where we're trying to treat things we don't understand. And when you're trying to treat an autoimmune, which is something that you don't understand, and that's made up, then be aware that your life could be in danger. And of course, as you find, it very much is. You know, the death rate from treatment is astronomical. Astronomical. There is no death rate from detoxing, except for those that came along way too late, and you're just trying to keep yourself alive. But there is no death from that and from getting healthy. One blog claims that he supplements sulfur every day to aid in detoxing liver and kidneys. Good friggin' luck with that guy. I mean, I'll tell you right now, you guys want to try sulfur, taking sulfur to detox with? Somebody lied to that guy real bad. And let me tell you, when you understand sulfur and you have it in you, for you guys that know it, can you imagine what this guy's doing to himself? The gassy, bloaty, always acid reflux feeling, it gets in the bladder, kidneys, you feel like you have a constant UTI. Those are feeling good things. I mean, why the hell, who would tell anybody to supplement sulfur for anything? I've never said that in my whole 40-some years of being a naturopath and biochemist. I never, but man has used sulfur compounds to treat. So anybody that said to use sulfur to detox is full of crap. And I'm going to tell you, this poor soul's making themselves. And remember, the other side of this is the candida side of this. Holy crap. The amount of candida or fungal problems that sulfur brings, holy crap, this is as bad as antibiotics. Wow. Isn't excess sulfur destructive to your kidneys? So why would this guy be doing that? You see what I'm saying? There's no rationale. People are just grabbing for things. And the problem is, this is why. This is beautiful. I'm glad you asked this, but I'm telling you, this is why we must speak with one voice. Brian and all you guys, I love all you guys. You know, we must speak with one voice, guys. You know, we must also be like little kids. What in the past is in the past. What's now is now. We all live in the now. I hold nothing against anybody for anything. We always live in the now and make anew. And so this is why we must speak with one voice. You said it right here. This is a good example of why we must speak with one voice. Because there's too many voices speaking bullshit out there. And fables and lies and misunderstandings and concepts and theories and all kinds of crap that's hurting people. We must get strong and be powerful with one voice. If people want to add, let them add. But you must, as a practitioner, keep your clients straight on the path, and you'll be extremely successful. Having them wander off in fields of dreams, you'll lose them. And they will lose their ability to get well. I've been doing this all my life, guys, and I've been seeing so many people in my life. There was one time we were so busy, we saw people 7 days a week, all the way to midnight at night. I tell you, I've been in this field a long time and seen a lot of people. And all I can say is we must speak with one voice. Then we can clean up the world, clean up the crap that's out there, stabilize the mind to some degree. The Homo sapien mind is undisciplined. So this must be somewhat stabilized. The only way to stabilize your mind is get control of it. And the only way to get control of your mind is quit using it all the time. Use your consciousness, awareness, become awake, and your life will be so much brighter, so much more fun. Use the mind when you need it. Oh, you're very right. Very frustrating, isn't it? Yes, it is. And it's frustrating for a practitioner even more so. Because you get these clients coming in, they're walking in with these grocery bags full of supplements. And I'm looking at them going, oh, I feel so sorry, because I know where they've been. I've been in this field for my life. I had health food stores way back in the early 70s. I know exactly supplements and all this whole thing. And it's like, oh my God, thank God. Thank you, God. I was pulled out of that thinking. Because it's a costly, it's like the medical, it's treating things you don't understand, and the success is minimal. You want wellness, you want vitality, you want vigor, you want dynamicness. You got to eat it, and you got to clean and build it. And you can have it. Each and every one of you can have the level you want, even more than your dreams could ever imagine. Now, really, that part of yourself knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's why you know the words that I'm speaking is in there. Thank goodness we have, oh, I love you, sweetheart, but this is why, honey, we need to speak with one voice. We've proved it works. Yeah, we can all work together and add the appropriate things. As you guys find out things, let us know. We find out things, we'll let you know, because remember, life here doesn't want this to grow. The negative forces want this to end, hide it, get it away, because it means an end to their focus. So you have to change all that. And so it's, we have to stand up. So keeping it simple is important. As we learn, we can grow. You can expand science, but expand it the right way. Instead of expanding it with theories, you expand it with actualities, because you've had success, you've had actual experiences in clinical work. Studies are one thing, clinical work's another.
Right. Yeah.
This is Greg. What causes scoliosis? If you got it, Greg, that's a good question. If you got it, you want to reverse it. Think about this. Your lymphatic pathway, remember those neurolymphatic points we have you working down your back? You know your lymphatic, you can tell by when you work your body or work your loved ones or whatever, and you're working a body, you feel all those tight lumps and humps, and you feel where the tissues and muscles are real tight over another one. You feel all that. That's when the lymph system, that's when you feel the lymph system getting stagnant, and you can see it going right down your spine when you feel it real tight and stiff. When you start to build up, and remember the spinal fluid also is moving waste, so when you get stagnant and the removal of these wastes, then you see acidosis setting in. And when you see acidosis setting in, you see everything that goes along with this. You see, from one view, the cationic or the catabolic process that's involved with acids. The aggressive, the chewing, the breaking down, the ripping apart. That's what acids do. Take a look at hydrochloric acid and what its job is in the stomach. You eat a piece of dead animal, what's its job? You eat a nut, what's its job? It's to rip initially the protein side of that, to start breaking down connective tissue, muscle, rip apart. The problem is we have very low hydrochloric acid anyway as humans. We're not meat eaters. So we don't have the level of hydrochloric acid that, say, an omnivore does. So we don't do well with that. And then when we're eating all this protein, it creates an acid environment in the small duodenum. Well, the problem with that is all your digestive enzymes in the duodenal or in the small bowel area is an alkaline. Most of your alkaline digestive enzymes operate at around 7.5 to 8 pH. And so that's essential to have that alkaline environment, even for lipase, protease. That's for your lipids and your peptides, and to get down to those amino acids. So you have to have that alkaline environment. When you're constantly putting proteins in, you're not allowing for that environment, and nature of those foods keeps acidosis within the small bowel as well. So you have incomplete digestion at best. You have fermentation, putrefaction, always passing gas, always having these type of problems. And then, of course, fungus is going to come in. People are going to come in there. Little microbes and things are going to come in. And, finish up the job that you've created there. So, everything in its own time. Everything in its own time. Scoliosis. So when you start backing up, and you start backing up this lymph system, you start backing up what? Acids, right? What does your body use to stop this, to try to stop this? What is your body? Because this has to be stopped or you break down. Oh, look, my joint's gone. Oh, look at that big, exactly. Oh, look, all my fingers are gone. All my knees are gone. My hips are gone. Shoulder, all of these things. It's all from acid cytochemistry. Then the acids are, you're not moving them out, not filtering them out through the kidneys. So it's important that that be done. Important that filtration of the kidneys is met, because this is the removal of acid waste. And the removal of acid waste is prime to being well. And so your body is going to fight this. How does your body fight acidosis? And it's on your test. I've said this many times. There's three basic simple ways the body tries to deal with this. That's after the body has tried to use its natural corticosteroids from the adrenal glands. Let's assume that the body has tried that to the point where there's not enough. You're low in your adrenal steroids. The job is massive because your whole body now is backing up head to toe lymphatically. So, cholesterol is the #1 lipid of the lymph system, and that's just what you see. Whether it's LDL or HDL, who cares? One's inside, one's the cell wall, and one's outside. Just LDL seems to be the adrenals and the outside. So this gets blamed for being the bad boy. It's not the bad boy at all. It's all good boys. We need those lipids. That's why when you go, we talked about this before, when you go on a lipid diet, you feel better. A high-fat diet, you feel better. You don't want to do that because that's ketosis, and you just keep on going down that road. But you feel better for a while. Why? The neutralization of acids. Anti-inflammatory. That's what lipids are. Anti-inflammatory or antacid. And that's exactly why you feel better. But you create acid ketosis. You can't do the lipids at a level that's too high, or proteins at a level, or amino acids even at a level that's too high. But generally you don't, and can't with amino acids, because you can't eat enough structure of fruits and berries and melons and salads to overdo them. You can pack them with the green drinks. That's why bodies, you can get quite large and healthy muscles by packing green drinks. So, you've got muscles that hold your spine in place on each side of your back. one kidney is always weaker than another one. So one kidney always loses its filtration a little more than the other one. So that side gets hard and stiff. And you have a tendency to pull the one side to the stronger side is going to pull on the weaker side and pull it out. And it's going to pull it. It can pull it any way. And at the same time, let's look, what's the second thing your body uses? Calcium. So the more you're acidic, and the more you feel this down your back, right, especially right to the kidneys, lower back, all lower back, it starts to leach the calcium out of your vertebrae. So what do you see from that? You see herniations of vertebrae, you see compression of vertebrae, you see scoliosis, you see all kinds of things because you're losing the strength and tone of the tissues to what? Acidosis. Now what's the third thing your body uses to fight acids? Edema, liquids, water. So what do you see in acidosis? Swelling. This is simple. It's all natural processes, all simple stuff. We should be taught all this simple stuff in high school. By the time we graduate out of high school, we should know our bodies, how to take care of them, how to feed them, everything like that. Don't you think? The average person has no clue. I can't even tell you some of the questions here that are bizarre. Showing you people don't know their bodies whatsoever. Sad stuff. Well, I've got an 11 o'clock appointment, and so I'm going to have to end. I hate to do that, but I love your questions. They're getting good. You fix the scoliosis. Where would you might look also with scoliosis? Parathyroid gland. So if you have scoliosis, I would jump on a parathyroid formula with the bones formula. If it's a parathyroid, like we have like 10 milligrams, I do 2 or 3 times a day, a couple, 3 bottles. Also use the bones formula 2, 3 times a day is what I would be doing. At the same time, what else am I doing? But you got to fix the problem. So always remember, you can't just treat the problem. You've got to fix the cause of the problem. So you got to go back and fix the kidneys, get that back draining, get your vertebrae all fixed up, get all that done. Because the chiropractor can keep putting them back, they'll keep pulling out. Until you fix the muscle, chiropractors and massage therapists are only therapeutic. So they're going to help you, which is great, beyond great, when we need them. But chiropractors more and more, same with massage therapists, I suppose, but chiropractors more and more are learning the truth of how to detox people too. They've been into health a little bit, into the treatment-based thinking a little bit as well, but I think more and more chiropractors are getting on board with detox. I mean, we have a ton of chiropractors that order wholesale. So we work with them and try to help everyone out there to get a remedy with their clients because it's so easy. I've made a lot of chiropractors big names for themselves. Because you can take anybody with a diagnosis of cancer, knowing what it really is, and helping them right through fixing this, and you're all good. So I want to say I love you guys. You all have a good day. We're all right here for you. We're not going anywhere. So just relax. Enjoy your day. Just open up and just let life work through you. Instead of manipulating life yourself, kick back for a while. Kick back this week and have life just work itself through you. And just watch what happens and see. And by the way, I enjoy coming to you many at night. We are all working together at all kinds of levels. So isn't it fun to have inner experiences? And the more lucid your inner experiences are, the more you just are one ball of light. So thank you for tuning into this channel, all of you. And it's easy. Get your remedies. You have to change your diet. So you have to change this just a little bit. But you know what? Look at it as a new adventure. How many of us are tired of the same thing? We need new adventures. Well, you're the one that has to create these new adventures. No one else can. You're the one. And this is a fun adventure all the way around. So good to have all you new people aboard. We love you guys. You take care of yourselves. Clinics available if you need it. And look forward to the future. We're working on this seminar. I hope to see all of you there at the seminar. We're going to have a lot of fun there. There's a lot of good, exciting plans coming up. So I'm so excited for everything and each and every one of you. So a lot of love there. May the blessings be.